listening to the Bomb Hole.
Bomb Hole Podcast.
It's going to be very hot. It's going to be very uncomfortable for everybody.
The Bomb Hole.
We're gonna slide down them big hills, you know what I mean, on the big, nice burgundy snowboard.
Okay, welcome back to the Bomb Hole, which is presented by Pub Beer. Now we got to start this thing off right and ask Stony Buds, how are you doing today?
So good, my dog.
Whew, that was a good one.
I wish I knew how to say that in French.
Yeah, how do you say that in French, Arthur?
Nickel, tout va bien, super.
That's complicated. I'll let you say that one.
Très bien, mon pote.
Très bien, un plat.
Mon pote.
Mon pote.
Yes.
To my left, we got Arthur Longo in the booth. Arthur, how you doing today?
Très bien, mon pote. Really good.
Love it. Love it. For our listeners that don't know who Arthur Longo is and are living under a freaking rock, Arthur's authenticity is second to none. He's French. He's an artist both on and off of the board. He's a two-time Olympian, X Games silver medalist. He's got several timeless video parts. He's won Rider of the Year. He recently skyrocketed into the stratosphere with his own style of snowboarding, launching side hits under the chairlift, as seen in his video series, She, also known as Side Hit Euphoria. Arthur is a gift to snowboarding, and we're going to talk about it all today. But let's just start it off. And what are you doing here in Salt Lake? What's going on, Arthur?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We've been presenting a Volcom movie, Cradle Cosm. So it's been a while since Volcom had made like a nice snowboard movie, and this is it. And we presented it last weekend. And yeah, so that was an occasion for a little trip in Salt Lake and to meet you guys as well.
Yeah, it's been great. And I noticed you got up on the jibs. That's a rare sighting, is Arthur on the steel. How was that experience?
That was amazing. I went to the spot. So, like going to a spot like this, like famous, because I just saw it from Instagram and stuff. And I know Seth really, really well. And I know that he was the one like building it. And that was amazing to go in the forest with Rav and yeah, put the board on the steel. I'm not against it. That was super nice.
Not many people are allowed there too, so that's a pretty special thing.
Yeah, for sure. There was a really good energy in the forest. So nice.
He got the pass from the general. Like
yeah, the general let him through.
Let's give the general an air horn, huh?
Yes.
All right. Now, I want to know about where you grew up in the mountains of France and what it was like.
Yeah, so I grew up in Les Deux Alpes. That's a ski resort close to Grenoble. It's a really cool place where to grow up for snowboarding, especially I was born in 88, and so the 90s there was like really going off for snowboarding. There was a ton of event. There was like a trade show in the beginning of the year called Mondial du Snow, and there was basically like Americans coming, like all the snowboard scene was going there, and I was a kid and I was like a part of it kind of. And so I come from there, and it's a fun mountain to ride. There's many options. It's just like, I was super lucky as a kid to come from there and just having so much support to like a snowboard club. And my dad was like a photographer and shooting actually like the local heroes snowboarding. So I was always like really into the snowboard thing there. And yeah, that was amazing.
I got a question about your dad being a photographer. Who would you say is a better photographer, Eastone or your dad?
I mean,
it's all right if you say your dad. I mean,
I don't necessarily want to be nice, but I give it to Eastone.
Oh, I give it to Eastone.
Over his father. Right. That's huge.
We're going to hit a guest question. We got a guest question from Pearly, who is a goat.
Very talented.
Let's give him an air horn. Pearly's the man. Pearly, shout out. And this one's in French, so you're going to have to translate what it is.
Geez.
Here we go.
Hey Arthur, tu trouves pas que les photos d'Eastone, elles sont toujours un peu floues?
So if I think that Eastone's photos are a little blurry, or is
I think Chris might have set that up. If I know Chris.
I'm going to be honest with you. Pearly didn't want to say that, but I wanted him to.
Those are fighting words, Pearly. I'm looking for you, bro.
Yeah, so good shit.
You made him say it, huh?
He was like really hesitant. I'm like, Buds will love it. It's all good.
We'll give you the pass on it, Pearly.
Funny.
Pearly's very talented, though.
Yeah, he's insane. Great photog. Great
I don't know
human.
what it is about these European photographers, but woo.
Yeah,
Guys
in
got
France,
fire.
we have amazing
Yeah.
photographers. Yeah,
It's
great.
out of control.
Matt George, Jérôme Tanon, Perly. Yeah,
So
to name
go-
a few.
And
Oh,
Pearly gave us a shot, right?
Yeah, we got a print of Arthur that's available at bombhole.com. Shout out to Pearly. It's a side hit. We'll get into that stuff. But, you know, one thing about where you grew up that's important to talk about, I think, is the fact that it's a glacier and glacier in France.
Yeah.
In Francais. And so you can snowboard all summer, right?
Yeah, exactly. My parents, they were like working in summer, and so they didn't really have the time to take care of me. So I was just going to the glacier by myself, kind of. I remember when I was 8, I could already like, you know, take the bus, or my grandma would drive me to the lift, and I would spend like my days on the glacier. So that's been big for me for sure. It's not only winters, you know, but I could go up there. There was always like a half pipe and a super good park for. It actually didn't change. It's still the same thing, but for back then it was really good, you know. And so yeah, that was amazing to have this.
This guy was raised by a glacier,
He was, yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah, for kids,
That explains
it was raised by a glacier. And then the afternoons, we were just like coming down, going skateboarding, going trampoline, going like, I don't know. It was like so easy for kids to grow up there. It was so nice.
Yeah, and you have, I don't know, everybody knows you as a backcountry snowboarder today and sees you doing side hits and things like that. But you have a deep half pipe background. So I'm curious, at what age did you get on that French national team and things start working for you?
Oh yeah, so the pipe, it's always been there in Les Deux Alpes. So I've had like, you know, I was in the club, we were like going snowboarding with kids, and we had these people like taking care of us. So it wasn't really serious in the beginning, but we were still like going to contests when we were already 10, 11, going to other resorts that had other half pipes, and we were just already just competing and like doing some kind of French championships and stuff like this. So I remember I was like a French champion of my category when I was maybe 11 already. And so, you know, I had a feeling for halfpipe, and then it kept going. And basically in France, when you're like becoming maybe 14, 15, you have access to a school where you can basically be in boarding school and snowboarding and having the winters free. But that means you have to be a part of the federation. So you enter some kind of like, you know, you have a coach, you have that school, which is kind of set up for alpine skier. And so we had to fit this, and it didn't necessarily work out all the time, but that was like amazing. We were like doing so much sport, and we were really lucky. We had people bringing us to the contest all the time, and maybe I did like a first World Cup when I was 15 in Italy or something like this. So that was like really good memories. But yeah, at some point I got kicked out of the team. Yeah.
Well, it worked out. I'm glad it worked out. And we should talk about halfpipe fundamentals, because a lot of the greatest snowboarders of all time come from a halfpipe background. You know, we had Ben Ferguson on recently. He's obviously made a great transition. I think about Nicholas and all these riders that just have come from halfpipe and gone on to do great things in all facets of snowboarding. So how would you say that halfpipe, you know, shaped the way that you ride?
Yeah, I think it's, as you say, it's true for like all the people like Danny Davis, Ben Ferguson, like Terrier, all the riders, you know, that have spent time in the pipe. They're like really good at snowboarding. And I think what we say about it is that maybe you're on your edge so much, you know, from one edge to another. And there's this like timing thing we were talking about the takeoff, you know, you just have to do with the terrain so much. You can't pop. If you pop early, you're not gonna make it, or too late, you're not gonna make it as well. So there's probably this kind of like, it shapes your kind of your feeling for snowboarding a lot. And yeah, once again, it's about the timing and maybe the control on your edges to be able to go fast and like pump as well, you know. So there's like all the aspects of being good on a snowboard in a half pipe. Yeah,
generate speed and carry speed and hold an edge. When I look at your kind of snowboarding mechanics from kind of like a nerd perspective, I love watching the way that you do it, because you come up like the way you pop on a jump is very similar to the way you do it in a half pipe. Like sometimes your front side 7s off of a jump have a similar head turn to maybe a front side 9 in the pipe. And I love the way that you kind of have patience. That's how I describe your jump style, where you or half pipe style, where you come, you wait, pop, and then I even noticed that you kind of wait to grab, and then it's like everything's slowed down. And do you have any insight to the patience of your riding?
I mean, first of all, I would say I do what I can do. It just comes the way it comes. Like in half pipe, waiting was always like a key, like one of our first coach with Oli, which is maybe gonna come later on with us. He was always saying like, you have to wait until you just like initiate like some kind of spin or something. That's really key in a half pipe. And I maybe like do this on a jump as well, kind of naturally. And that probably helps, like, as soon as you put too much weight on your edge on a takeoff or something, it's never really a good thing. So waiting is always, and you're always gonna be too early anyway, so you have to wait as long as you can.
I think that's great advice for beginners, because it's like the number one mistake you see in the half pipe and a jump is the pre-spin or reaching for your grab too early. So
and also if you don't wait, you're going to be in the flat bottom or on the deck too. So you got to be smart with it.
Yeah, better be late, and it's impossible anyway to be too late.
I have a Patreon question about the half pipe, and this is from Thomas Portet. If you could do it all over again from the beginning, would you spend as much time in the half pipe, and why?
I mean, it's that's a good question, but it's like I think about anything in life, once your life have gone one way, it's hard to be like, oh, I would have done it another way, and I mean, we're only talking about half pipe, but I think I wouldn't have changed anything because it's the way it's shaped. I was never overthinking of like the way I should do thing so much, or especially in snowboarding, like things came naturally, one thing after the next, and I believe that half pipe made the snowboarder I am. So I wouldn't change anything. Yeah.
Nice. Why have regrets? Your life went great.
Yeah, totally, for sure.
So going back to, kind of climbing the ladder as a competitive half pipe rider, back in the day, I remember, did you ride for Apo snowboard?
Yeah, I did Apo when I was around 18, 19.
Yeah. Pro model?
Yeah, pro model, like pretty super ugly. I still have the board. I'm like really ashamed by now. But that was my name on the board.
You and Colonel Kotzenberg.
Oh,
Sage.
that's right.
And then you went to the Olympics. So I want to hear about your Olympic experience.
Yeah. So I've been to Vancouver in 2010. And that's kind of when I was not super focused on half pipe. I was like, I was doing video parts, and I was like a bit like maybe 2 years before this, I was kind of not in the team anymore because of they didn't want me in the team anymore, and so I was doing Arctic Challenge and more like TTR on my own, and I was not really a part of the team. But the summer before, they were like, okay, you can come to Monthood, train with us and practice and see where it goes. And so that went really well. And maybe 2 weeks before the Olympics, there was a World Cup in Calgary, and that was kind of like make the team for France. And I won this World Cup, so they were like, okay, you're going to Vancouver now. And so that was exciting. I was not really super ready for it, but in the same time, I had learned the double cork actually in Park City, like a week before the game. So that was exciting. I could go with a good trick in the run, and a bit random. I didn't expect it to be there, and suddenly I was in the Olympic Games. And I think Vancouver is kind of one of the best place you can have the games. It's like so made for it, and that was a big party for like 2 weeks. That was actually amazing. That was really good.
Did you get a gold medal in partying or what?
After our contest, we went like pretty hard.
So he did get the gold
for 5 days. Yeah, gold. Yeah, not in the half pipe. That's
in the
for
after
sure.
hours.
In the half pipe, I didn't do that well, but being part of it was good enough. I wasn't bummed not to do like any performance or whatever, and yeah, the whole atmosphere was amazing. And what I remember from it is how big of a thing you think it is, from the outside when you see it on TV and like all these commercials and the Olympic Games. And when you're in it, you actually don't see all this stuff. So it's like way more intimate and way smaller in some ways. And that was a cool experience. And then I went to Sochi as well.
And you got a severe wrist injury before Sochi, right?
No, actually, that was after Sochi.
But that was after. Okay.
Yeah. Sochi was different. I really trained like for 2 years before going. I was doing all the like US Open, X Games and stuff, and I was pretty good at this time, doing like finals sometimes and having chances of like maybe podium sometimes if I didn't fall, but I fell a lot. And so Sochi was different. I was going with hope of like maybe doing something there. And then I got a little rib injury like a month before, so I carried this to Sochi. That didn't help, and actually the day of the contest was the worst day ever. But again, like the whole experience of going to Olympic was amazing. And I remember what I loved about it is that once I decided to go for 2 years, I didn't have to think about something else. And people would ask me, "Yo, what do you do?" or whatever, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm training for Olympics," and that just made my life like so much easier for 2 years of having a goal like for so long. And that was kind of the first time of my life I kind of had this feeling. Yeah.
Now, I have a question. Being a competitive half-pipe rider and also doing video parts, were you enjoying your time while you were competing? Like, were you having fun, or did it feel like a grind?
That's a good question, but I think it was never like always good or always bad. There was like up and downs, and when you compete, you of course gonna like it when you do a good result or where you land your run. It's easy to enjoy it for sure. And some other times where you feel tired and maybe the conditions are not as nice, and you come back from a fun filming trip, and you're in this environment again of like putting the bib on and trying to do something in bad weather when you don't want to. It could suck as well. So, but overall, when I look back, I just have like a good feeling about it. So I think it was good like this.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We always ask this question too. Just curious about competing at such a high level. I always wondered what people are doing at the top of these half pipe runs or slope style. Are you listening to music? Are you one of those like people that's like doing weird Mr. Miyagi like shit where you're visualizing? What were you doing to get the right headspace before you dropped in?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it depends. Sometimes you're late coming. It's your turn, and you're like, oh, okay, getting ready, and you don't have time to think about all this. And sometimes you have like way too much time to kill. And I'm unfortunately a smoker, so I would I would definitely smoke a ton of cigarettes on top.
He just has a pile of butts next to him.
Fume.
Yeah, you're like, how long do I drop? There's time for a ciggie. This kind of stuff. Listening to music as well sometimes. But anyway, as soon as we had enough time, we would like take a lap, to just go ride and try to time it when you have to drop kind of a little bit.
I picture you dropping in listening to like fucking Beethoven or some shit.
What do you
got in the headphones? Is it like we listen to the Young Dolph? We listen to Beethoven? What are we slapping in there?
I don't know. I never listened to music when I was doing half pipe, but what I would listen to is would be probably some kind of, chill rock music, some cozy rock. Yeah.
Cozy
Like
rock.
classic
Yeah.
rock or
No,
cozy?
cozy rock.
What's cozy rock?
Cozy rock.
I've never heard of cozy rock. Have you?
Just
Jimi
it's just
Hendrix.
cozy.
It's comfortable.
I don't know, whatever.
Throw some bands
the
at me.
Doors, you know.
Oh, the Doors.
The
Okay.
The Doors feels like so cozy.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
could feel that.
Yeah.
The Doors
This
are
is a
dope.
cozy rock and roll band.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cozy.
Well, this is a good time to get into a guest question. Well, you mentioned cigarettes here. So we got another one from Pearly. Here we go.
Hey Arthur, it's Belly. I hope you're doing good. I have a question for you. One day we were in a car and you told me you randomly run a marathon without training or barely. And how is it possible, like, you could run that long with, like, smoking that many ciggies? And what's the secret?
No, yeah, actually during this time I wasn't smoking.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So you ran a marathon off the couch.
Yeah, no, yeah, that was the end of a season, and yeah, a season where I didn't smoke, because I've been off sometimes for a year or two, and yeah, end of the season, my dad and my brother were interested in like running a marathon, and we ran the marathon of Copenhagen, and so I didn't run with cigarettes, and that went out like really really nice. I loved it. It was great.
This guy's a freak. He's a
Just
freak.
gonna go run a marathon.
Yeah,
Just chill.
yeah, it's all good. Yeah, just gonna run a marathon. Okay.
Yeah, that was too long. Like when I was doing it, I was like, okay, never again. this type of thing. Yeah,
A little bit of that type 2 fun. Class B.
Class B.
Well, I love your fucking Frenchness, Arthur, because it's like, this guy, he wakes up, he like has a cup of coffee, he smokes a cigarette. Maybe we'll go up into the hill, and like very like lets the day develop.
Yep.
So I want you to walk us through an average day, maybe in spring in Chamonix. Just take us through a day of Arthur, what it looks like.
Yeah, when we go shred, basically, I'd say we just the good thing about resorts is that they don't open super early. Like they open around 8, 9, and I think that's kind of a good timing. If you want to be early, it's 9. It's not too early, and that's really cool. And so we wake up, I would say, and kind of listen to music and try to decide where we would go. And usually it's with Oli and Perli, and we have to stop, get a sandwich for Oli at the bakery. We have to stop maybe 3 times for me to get a coffee in different spots. We have to buy the passes, and slowly but surely we get on the mountain at some point. and then usually we drop the bags and we start like taking a few laps and see if we get inspired by any spots or by the vibe of the day. Sometimes it's not nice and we don't force it. We go back to the lodge, have some food, or sometimes we just like click, like see like one little spot, and that's enough to get us excited.
I think what you said is really important there too about taking warm-up laps, like dropping the pack, everybody take some runs, because it's not always like that.
Yeah, don't force it, right?
Yeah, so now I would say when I was younger, yeah, it was a bit more classic, like going to the spot like right away, boot pack to the spot and maybe shape the thing. And I got more comfortable with like being myself like recently, the last years, and doing it the way I wanted to do it. And it's way better to take laps, you get better stuff in the end and better feeling and everything. So it's not only about like doing one thing and getting it done, but like try to do it with like, as much pleasure as possible. Yeah.
Enjoy the process.
Love that style, man. That sounds great.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and talk to you guys about some socks. Jed Anderson rides them, Jill Perkins ride them, and I ride them. Of course, I'm talking about Stance. If you've ever seen a pair of socks with the Icon logo on the ankle, then you know about Stance. Stance has been making some of the most comfortable and creatively designed socks and underwear for the snowboarding community for a while. They also make Celtics, Boston Red Sox gear. I got all kinds of collaborative gear from them. But lately, their designers have been bringing in the same winning formula to clothing. We're talking joggers, hoodies, hats, and tees. They even got a Wu-Tang collab. Thing's kind of fire. Toe-to-head comfort and creativity. Head on over to stance.com and use promo code THEBOMBHOLE to save 20% off. Again, stance.com, promo code THEBOMBHOLE.
Let's get back into it. We have a Patreon question from Bo Brown. How many days do you spend each season riding at the resort?
So one time I counted, and I think it was like about 120 days, like on the course from like November to April. So that was like many days. I was really trying to get many days that winter, and you know, it's obviously the best thing you could do to like be on point is if your body is following. You know, I would say that would be maybe 1 day out of 2 you're just snowboarding. And that's amazing. That's what I'm looking for. But also I'm traveling a lot, and I've been living in the city for a long time. So I didn't always have these winters where I would have like plus 100 days. But now I'm living in Chamonix in France with a season pass, and I'm looking forward to spend just like as many days as possible on the hill.
You were telling me earlier, too, there's like 6 different resorts right there.
Yeah, it's nice. We say Chamonix, but when we say Chamonix, I think we talk about the valley. And there's like, it's a tiny valley, and there's like 6 little resorts, so you get like north aspect, south aspect, and all type of elevation and terrain. And so in a small little zone, there's a lot of variety. It's super, super nice.
Yeah, when people think Chamonix, you think of these big mountains kind of above tree line, but it's more than that, right? There's all
it is,
types of riding.
for sure. You could say that the big mountains there, it's almost a landscape. You know, you're not necessarily on them, and then you're like, or my style is to go like close to the forest, like around like 6,000 feet, chill. You know, good temperatures, not too high, and there's the best terrain there. So you see the big stuff, but you're not necessarily on it. It's more of a landscape.
You're more of a vibe, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So going back to just thinking about your riding, you know, if you look at the stuff you've been doing currently, it's a lot of really high speed, you know, hand dug or like natural side hit, the minimal build and precision, you know, 100-foot gap into, you know, 5-foot landing, like very precision sniper landings. And you just appear to be so goddamn comfortable on your snowboard. I mean, you may have already answered that, but what's the key to being so comfortable on your damn board?
I really don't know, but again, I think it's because I've done it my whole life, you know, and like a lot. So I think sometimes I think about this, like there's not many things, or there's no other thing in my life where I can do that good, you know, and it's a good feeling. Just because I've been lucky to be put on a snowboard when I was 5, and yeah, I also get a feeling for this. I don't know, it's a kind of natural and something is shaped like over so long, you know. But you were talking about transfers and stuff, and I know that for me it's the most like motivating and exciting thing about snowboarding, because I'm not like this guy that is going to spin like crazy tricks with like all kind of grabs, or I'm not too technical in this way. But when it comes to like arrive on the spot, like having a feeling for like how much speed you need to just reach that little pocket there, that's what excites me, and usually I'm kind of accurate with this, and I think I got it from doing it a lot. Yeah.
Now,
I got a Patreon question.
Go ahead.
Backs up your question.
Yeah.
This is from Geezer. You go absolutely huge. Does Volcom have to make your pants special for your massive balls? People want to know.
Special fit. Yeah, that's a good question.
Is it a custom fit?
I don't have a joke to reply to this. They're actually kind of skinny at the moment. There was a moment. There was a problem with the last sample collection. They
couldn't fit your balls.
They could have more space.
Yeah.
Not that they're big or I don't want to get into the details for sure.
Perfect.
All right, love that. Well, you kind of breezed over this, but this is kind of an interesting wormhole to get into because you used to live in Berlin for many years and would travel to the mountains, and now you're back where you kind of grew up in the mountains again, right? Living in the mountains, and so I guess I'm curious as to like the lifestyle and just overall maybe life happiness of what do you think the mountains do for that? What do you enjoy about the mountains? Maybe aside from snowboarding too, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's like it could be hard to be away from like your natural environment, and I think I was really from like a village in the mountains, so I'm a village kid from the mountains, so that's what I am deeply, and I had to go to the city, discover other things. The excitement of a city is insane, and I think I really love the way it shaped me and what it brought. There was like all the music, all the art, all these people you could meet, and it's not necessarily something that happens in a mountain environment so much, I think. So for me, it was really important to have both. But at some point, living in the city, when I'm a snowboarder and stuff, I was like definitely starting to miss being in the mountains. And as you say, not only for the snowboarding, but also just during summer, I'm like also flying paragliding. I'm kind of climbing, and there's some skate anyway as well in the mountains, skate parks and stuff. So I feel that it's more of a natural habitat for me. With the options of like always be in the forest, always be in the mountains. And it's just more natural for me. But I was super happy to get the influence from the city as well. Yeah.
You mentioned when we were skating yesterday that you recently got into like picking mushrooms. I want to hear about that.
Wait, what type of mushrooms?
The ones that we draw and they're like this. Yeah. The ones like
The ones.
The ones. It's funny. A friend is into this, and she showed me like where to pick them, and I was like, "Oh fuck, that's really fun. I like this." And then I was watching videos, and then so I could really recognize them now, and they're actually growing quite a bit in Chamonix, and so I was like picking mushrooms like in this like cow fields close to the forest in the sun. And they're small, they're not easy to find, but sometimes you just like find 10 of them and you're like, oh cool, like they're so cute, and so it's been fun, and now they're dry, and I'm waiting for next season to pick them up.
They just grow naturally, easy to find, huh?
Yeah, not easy to find. You have to spot them. Maybe there's a timing thing as well.
Yeah.
When we went there, we were not the only ones to.
Oh, really? There's other people.
Yeah. There was a few kids there looking for mushrooms. Yeah.
Louis Paradis, also a big mushroom picker. Pour manger as well, not just for everything.
Yeah, more for the taste.
Yeah.
Just about foraging, huh? They like to forage.
Yeah, Victor Davier is really into this as well. He's like, he can talk about it forever. I'm not like this yet, but I will have more knowledge about not only the little ones.
How did you learn how to pick? How did you learn which ones to pick?
From internet, you can learn so much. Even this, just everything, And if you're interested, I'll show you the video.
Yeah, totally.
And you have to dry them out. You can't just pop up, clean them, and eat them, huh?
I think you can.
Oh, you can.
It's up to you.
It's up to you how you want to do it.
You have to be a bit adventurous if you do this. Like, you never know exactly what's gonna happen.
What you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's better to dry them probably.
Yeah.
Now I noticed we're gonna go deep talk, but as I've gotten older, we live in a city here in Salt Lake, and the city I've noticed sometimes my stress levels are higher, and I need to escape from the city to just bring my stress levels down and ground. And as I've gotten older, I've come to appreciate I'm like, what kind of tree is that? I like those leaves. What kind of bird is that? Like I feel a deeper connection as I've gotten older in the mountains. Do you feel the same in any way? Like it helps ground you?
Yeah, for sure. And maybe the difference is that I notice it. You know, when I was younger, maybe I didn't really notice it, but it was already the case probably. But now I feel that we talk a lot about this, you know, like, you know, how people get comfortable in life. And so I think maybe we're more aware of what's good or bad for us. And when you start noticing it, it's really powerful. Like me personally, I go in the forest and I really like chill down like a lot. And I also got my amount of stress and like, you know, my thoughts and, you know, like a head which is not necessarily like always like fun to deal with or whatever. And I like these little tricks of like, you know, going to the nature and focusing on like simple things. And also I'm like doing a bit of art and I try to, if you want to be an artist, you have to try to kind of like be more aware of like what's in front of you and like be more curious, you know, and try to see things like another way. So that's a really good exercise too. But I totally feel you about like feeling good in the mountains and the forest.
I want to elaborate on being more curious because that's super interesting to me.
Yeah. I think I read it from so many artists, but it was my experience as well. Like at some point when I was in Berlin, I had a studio and I was doing it like a bit more frequently. Like every day I would try to paint and stuff, but it was like way more of just, you know, like starting your stuff like one day like this. It was actually living it. And that was like a mindset that I really loved and that doesn't happen all the time, but for maybe a few months I was like living this way of like constantly looking for inspiration or trying to figure out what you want to translate with your art and stuff. So it was like way more than going to the room and doing the stuff. It was more when you take a walk in the streets, you're like almost making art already in your head, you know. And I think that has to do something with curiosity. Maybe when you get caught in the daily life or like in your stress or whatever, you forget, you know, to see things and to appreciate like little things. And so it's a good exercise or a good reminder. I always tell myself like, yeah, just keep being curious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Love it. That's why I love dogs. You know, I love watching my dog in the morning because he's so curious. He's like going and sniffing.
Every little thing.
Little thing. He's like, what's this over here? What's this? I'm watching him. He's like, curiosity is like through the roof. Now you talked about actively seeking inspiration through curiosity as it pertains to art. Now, do you actively seek inspiration on your snowboard as well in your approach?
Yeah, for sure. But again, this could come from actually more the feelings and like, you know, the flow you can get from snowboarding and you always like basically if you're in a good mindset, you have good chances to just ride good, you know. And so it's all about like trying to be in your comfort zone and then doing it, and then by doing it you just get in this kind of like flow feelings that are like inspiring. I don't know if it makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah. Chasing that flow.
Yeah. You talk a lot about flow and the flow state.
Yeah.
You do you feel you're able to get into that flow state mode a lot?
Yeah, with snowboarding a lot, and I think with skateboarding as well. With art, actually, not so much. Like I'm kind of like, or it depends, but to make it simple with snowboarding, it's kind of like, for me, it's almost like pressing a button. I can like, you know, I can zoom out and just be doing this, and there's not that many things in life where you can be like, okay, I'm like completely doing this. But with snowboarding, it still does the trick on me. You know, I'm like not thinking about anything. I'm just trusting my feelings, my whatever reflexes, or, you know, my abilities to just like do it the way I do it. And it's really, it's easy to get a flow state for me in snowboarding.
What I hear too,
right?
it shows totally. And I think about this too, when you reach those levels of peak confidence. When you're really, really confident on the snowboard, I think that comes from snowboarding a lot. And I think when you're snowboarding a lot and you're confident, it's a lot easier to feel natural and be in that flow state, is what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah, for sure. And I kind of make it sound maybe a little too easy because, sometimes you have like back pain and it's hard to forget that pain, you're just not going to snowboard as good. But maybe sometimes you have that pain, but because of the spots or because of the day, the weather, the vibe, like whatever, you can forget about this pain and just like enter that state where you're just like a bit more natural. Yeah.
Now, I always wonder about this too, is what percentage of snowboarding are you doing in your mind? Are you someone that daydreams and dreams and thinks about tricks and is constantly spinning? Or are you somebody that just shows up and the spot presents itself and it happens more naturally?
I love to mind shred for sure.
Mind shred.
Yeah, mind skate a lot. Like when I was in the city, I was like always like going to bed, like skating in my head for a few, for 10, 20 minutes. And I loved it. And for snowboarding, it's maybe a little less because, I've been snowboarding for so long and maybe skateboarding is a bit more exciting almost than snowboarding at the moment for me. So not as much, but I'm a mind shredder for sure. I love it. Like, and I think you can almost like get better doing this or, progress or get inspired as well from it. Sometimes you just have to think a bit more about what you could do and new things you could do. Yeah.
Yeah, you're visualizing, right?
The feeling and yeah, totally. Okay, we got a guest question from Blake Paul. Here we go.
What up, Bombhole? Arthur, I was wondering if you could take us through what you bring in your backpack out in the backcountry. I know there's usually not a lot in there. It usually feels pretty light. I've seen a bottle of Coke, maybe a couple smashed up bananas. So yeah, if you could run us through that, and also just what your approach is to finding spots on the resort and how you kind of look at gaps and stuff. All right, thanks guys.
Cool. Yeah, I think I'm gonna talk about him then, not me, because he's kind of the gear god, I call him. Is pretty good about bringing the little sandwich in the little box that is not going to like spill in the backpack and stuff like this. He has layers, the good layers that I don't have. I just have cotton t-shirts and they're always wet or sweaty. And so, yeah, Blake always made fun of me because I'm not comfortable in the backcountry. I don't help myself to be comfortable. So what's in my backpack? There's probably gonna be a smashed banana, cigarettes, like for sure. Because when you're far out in the backcountry and you run out, it's not fun.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, that's a problem. You want the lighter for it, maybe two, and a bunch of water. Water is the thing I can't not have because I always drink water when we're in the backcountry. What else? Yeah, a few tools, the classics like beacon and all the stuff. But I'm pretty loose with gearing up, and that was the point of the question. Yeah, and for finding spots, I feel that it's one of the most exciting part for me of snowboarding. Like when I get in a new spot, it's like opening the eyes and like scanning the terrain. And yeah, it became one of the most enjoyable thing I can do on my snowboard is just to look for spots. And once you have inspiration from skateboarding, surfing, snowboarding, like so many options you can do with the terrain, then you start like seeing stuff even if they're not too obvious. But there's always the obvious spot, in a ski resort. You're gonna look at this one for sure, and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but it helps you to zoom in and maybe discover like something else, it's the same in backcountry. Like a few years ago with Blake, we were at the bottom of like a super nice little mountain, and we were like seeing the spots from the bottom, but we were like, I was the first day I was like, fuck, what could I do there? And I was not really inspired. Then we started riding it, and it was endless. By riding it, we were just zooming in and finding new little things to do all the time. Yeah. So zooming in, being curious again, scanning the mountains, and for me, it's one of the exciting part of snowboarding. Yeah.
Yeah, it's obvious you're the way you're seeking out those landings, like in natural selection.
Yeah, sniper gang.
Those sniper gang landings. That was like my favorite part of that event.
Cool.
What is it? Scary Cherry? Was it that the run?
Well, no, that was the Jackson
The
Hole.
Jackson one, yeah, where he just did that crazy cross court line, and it's just like that's the classic style of riding we like to see from you. So that's awesome.
Cool, nice. Yeah, that spot was really cool. Maybe the course is like a little bit like straightforward, which is I'm not like super good at jumping straight, so I'm always like looking for the side stuff. And this one was semi lining up, when I saw it when we were the day before, like in the boot pack, and that was a good option for me in the course. Yeah.
Was it nerve-wracking when you were riding natural selection? Were you scared at the top?
Yeah, I was scared, but a bit like here, you're scared before, but not when you do it. So it's something you have to accept. Like, all of us were like nervous before, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's the way it is. And once you're actually doing it, it's such a relief. Yeah.
He just compared talking on the bomb hole to competing at the natural selection.
So sick.
You know what I mean? Like,
so if that's the case, would you consider Eastone the Travis Rice of basically
of podcasting?
Yeah, totally. The master, with Travis, you're like a bit scared from Travis. Yeah.
All right, we talked contests, and Pearly wanted me to bring this up because I don't know where this goes, but at Euro X Games, you got second place. Pearly wanted me to ask you about the after party after that event.
Oh, yeah, that was, everybody was really happy for me, like to do something like this in France. I wasn't doing podiums that much, and I got lucky, or I was kind of like, lifted by the crowd of like having my parents there, my grandma, my friends at the bottom of the pipe. And this happened, to get second. This is super exciting. And of course, there was like all the French homies there ready to party. And so that was a nice one. Everybody was on fire, and I think they all had like a super good night, as good as I did probably. And there was a lot of bowl of champagne. Is this what he talks about?
He didn't give me any details. He said you just have to ask him about that night.
Yeah. There was like a lot of champagne going on, and I think I'm not sure who paid for it, but I think there was a trick. Maybe Monster or like some brands ended up paying for all the champagne we just wasted, like blowing to each other. So
basically, nobody paid for it. You just shook them up, popping bottles.
Basically,
Hope somebody's got this tab.
Yeah, exactly. That was probably a heavy one. But yeah, super good memory. All the friends were so happy for me, and it's such a good feeling. Yeah.
Now going back with contests, transitioning from a contest rider into filming video parts and getting in the backcountry, what did that look like for you?
That was like, I always kind of mixed the two, and there was a bit of a timing where, the contest there early in the season, maybe it's like intense until February or March, and then you have time for like March, April of like trying to get shots. And for many years it was like this for me, trying to save, like make a little part at the end of the winter, going to Scandinavia or the places that had snow like a bit later. And that was always exciting, and trying to squeeze maybe a filming trip between contests. And I was just going with the flow, and trying to mix everything the way I could, but probably doing a little too much to do it proper. I was in the end not really good in contests, and maybe I could have done better in filming. So I was just trying to do a little too much maybe, but it was also the balance I kind of had somehow. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, in regards to what we're talking about, we have a guest question from Jake Price. Here we go.
Hey, Bombhole. Hey, Alfred. Quick question for you. Just wondering if you could explain to the viewers the difference between us filming on a resort, let's say at Lox or Chamonix, compared to filming in the backcountry in, let's say, Revelstoke or Whistler. Which do you prefer? Tres un putain de Mac. That's so bad. You're the fucking man. Later.
Yeah, Jake, love you. Thanks for the question. It's very, very different. We've been talking about a little bit about what a day looks like, when we ride in Europe. And I think it's pretty rare that we're like, okay, tomorrow is the day, we have to be on point, we'll be in the backcountry, like full day, not seeing anyone. The way it happens in Revelstoke, for instance, the way Jake said, when we're in BC, like on the sleds, we're just basically, putting gas in the sled at 5 a.m. and trying to fix up like a little food for the rest of the day. And once you're out, it's not like you're just like way more in the element, and that's so exciting for me because we've been to places with Jack where there wouldn't be anyone like around us. There would just be like Pat Moore, Jake Price, and me just in a little mountain like this alone, trying to get some shots. So it's like very different. In Europe, we're always like close to people, close to a lodge or whatever. We have like a lot of coffee breaks, and it's very different. And I enjoyed the both. I think maybe Europe is like comes easy for us. We're not stressing it, and usually we find a spot. We don't have like to go at 5 a.m. and we also have to trust the process a little bit. Sometimes there's a new storm and there's that good day, and you stress out if you're not doing something the next morning, But it takes time, and sometimes it takes us until like the afternoon of finding a spot and, doing it like a little late, but it works in the end. And so, yeah, very different the two, but I love that I could experience the American way, the Canadian way, North America.
How's your skill set and your learning curve getting on the snowmobile?
It was actually not too bad, maybe from like biking or something, and learning from Jake. Jake is pretty rowdy on the sled, and he taught me kind of the hard way, I guess. Just have to like dig your sled out all the time, trying not to put it in a tree, and the rest is like, trying to be cautious and like focused. And it was good. It was good, but there was time where I would like lose confidence and I would be scared on the sled, like for no reason, And it's the same as snowboarding. Sometimes you'd have the confidence and you could like climb a crazy thing with the sled, and I was surprised I could do this.
Mm-hmm.
Were you on a 6 sled?
Yeah, like
Skidoo.
Skidoo proper.
Was it Skidoo?
Like,
I only ride Skidoo. I mean, Skidoo's the best. Skidoo, wow.
Same for me. I only ride Skidoo.
We bleed do over here.
Yeah, it's do or nothing. Huh? It's do or die. It's do or die where I come
This
from.
is an interesting take switch there, Buds. He was diehard Polaris last time I talked to him.
Me? No, wait,
No
do or
way.
die. Do or die, man.
Yep.
No Polaris for sure not. No, brand new Skidoo, like really.
So that's actually
really
a pretty
nice.
funny story. Basically, like Jake bought a brand new Skidoo for Arthur, put it on his sled deck.
Really?
And then you just wired him the money and flew out, and we were like, okay, we're good to go, right?
Yeah, that's I would say that's typical Jack. He hooks up like everything all the time, and he's amazing. Like he's always have like, this kind of he had a camper van and like stuff on the trucks and like 2 sled, one brand new for me, and I just had to wire him the money. He took care of everything, and one day I arrived in Canada and my sled was there, and it was just too easy. He made it too easy, But I think in the same time he was like really happy to have like a homie to do this kind of stuff like all winter with him, because he loves the adventure. He's amazing to follow, he's like always looking on maps and trying to get to new zones, and I think for him it's important to have like a French guy that follows him, and says yes to everything.
Yeah, that sounds like a match made in heaven right there.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we're
hung
matching.
out in Landline year, I believe in Chatter, we saw you late season. That was super fun. We were camping out in this muddy parking lot and getting after it, and he got all kinds of sick shots.
Yeah, that's amazing. This place is crazy. But again, like Jake made it so nice. We had like a little caravan in the back of the truck, and we were sleeping in the parking lot, and the terrain is amazing. And yeah, we saw you super good snow. There was maybe a bit sketchy. There was avalanches during this time, but amazing place, and I would like to go back for sure.
And you just have a sled here now in North America?
No, I sold it.
Okay.
Sold it. I got the cash back, but ready to buy another
Solid
one.
move. Yeah, you just buy a new one if you have to.
Yeah. And it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like instead of renting, you have like a brand new one, it works, and you sell it back. It's actually kind of smooth.
Yeah, the renting is really expensive.
And the dad of Jake sold it for me.
Of course.
Shout out to Price.
Yeah, totally.
Mini bike.
Oh my God. Thank you,
Dad
Jake.
of Jake.
So going back what he was talking about, I think it's kind of cool to revisit because, he asked the differences between filming at the resort versus filming backcountry via snowmobile where you're sledding around, you're getting up early. And you kind of broke all the rules with She and Side Hit Euphoria with basically in snowboarding, you want this cheese wedge that's pristine and nobody steps around and there's no footprints and there's no tracks. And it's just like, you just want this mythical wedge that's in a powder field, right? That's kind of the rules of snowboard filming, the unwritten, whoever the body of the governing body that wrote the Declaration of Snowboard Independence.
Declaration of
said that you don't want, tracks. And then you watch your footage from under the chairlift and there's tracks everywhere. There's people filming with their phone on skis and what kind of inspired you to just step out and break all these unwritten laws?
It's nice to say. It's totally true. There's the laws of like filming, and I'm from the generation where we like really took care of the wedge. Not putting a step next to the wedge and stuff like this. And I've always been like a little frustrated from it. I totally understand it from like, a filmer point of view. It's frustrating to have a track like somewhere in the shot. And as a snowboarder, it's frustrating to have to take care of this. And so slowly when I was a bit more established, in snowboarding, that I didn't have to maybe follow the rules so much anymore because I could do my own stuff, then it made more sense to care a little less about like this kind of stuff and to actually pick, because if you care too much about the tracks, there's so many things you let on the side and amazing stuff, and once you allow yourself to ride something that is tracked out, then there's like way more options, especially in the resort, So it naturally happened, maybe by being more confident of, being my own type of rider, and that maybe I didn't have to follow the unwritten rules anymore. And also, to be honest, like a little tired as well of like the classic movies, because we've seen them and they're amazing and we've always tried to do better and it's been always better, but like maybe a video from 15 years ago is just as nice as the one from 5 years ago. So maybe there was not that much evolution in this way. And more in the way you're describing, where you just like ride anything which is maybe tracked out, but reveals like way more options in the end. Yeah.
I have a Patreon question as well about She.
Let's shout out our Patreon members too. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. Really helps us do this show. And if you're interested in checking out Patreon, we have a link on our website, bombhole.com. But major thank you to you guys.
This is from Zach H. And he's wondering, do you have any thoughts on why people resonated with She the way that they did? And also, he heard that you drank an espresso and had a cigarette between every run while filming She. Is this true?
I don't know Zach, so I don't know how he knows this, but well, it's almost true. Let's say, I don't want to say every try because there's to be honest, like there's a lot of tries coming into this. Like sometimes we're like sessioning something for like 3 hours before it comes together. It's like it looks like natural and stuff, but honestly, we're just like trying hard. And it takes a lot of tries, so hopefully it doesn't take as many espressos and cigarettes, not every time. What was the beginning of the question?
Why did it resonate with people the way that it did? People really were hyped on it.
There's millions of views for people that don't know, like millions.
Yeah, like all the props we get is like that it makes the people want to snowboard so hard, when they see it, they just like get fired up to snowboard. And I think it's because it seems, and it is, accessible, side hits is like something we all did in some ways, but we never documented it because we were maybe too focused on the unwritten laws. and and so, we got, I don't know, almost lucky to go this way and just ride what anybody can ride in a resort because it's accessible. It's not like somewhere in Alaska where the people like the viewers would never probably go there. So it's more on that inspires them to do something at their own spot. And the feeling the feedback we get is that it motivates them to ride so much.
You don't have to wire Jake $15,000 and fly to Canada. You can just go to your local resort and build a little side hit.
Yeah, totally a different way to approach snowboarding, which is amazing to have like different ways to do it. Yeah.
Yep.
Even going back to unwritten laws, but the degree of relatability on a cheese wedge. There's no cheese wedge that's like somebody's gonna stumble across and they're riding they're generally in their backyard or in their resort, but there is a side hit that they can that's ridden in that they can try to be like Arthur. Yeah, probably not succeed because nobody can, but they can try.
Yeah, not many people can do it on his level.
And I think about DIY skateboarding maybe as well when I think about side hits. The way you say you just like maybe build your own little spot, and it's not a wedge that takes like a full team to do. It's just like you have a blade and you're just like scraping a little track, and that feels like DIY skateboarding to me. And the inspiration of like side hits could come from this as well, for sure.
Now, I've heard some people call them wall hits. Do you ever hear that? Wall hits versus side hits?
Wall hits, like in which way? What would it
Some
mean?
people in America, there's a little debate.
At like Snowbird, right? Snowbird here in Utah, they have a terrain where there's the natural quarter pipe all the way down the run, right?
Yeah.
And we've gotten feedback that people are extremely angry that we call them side hits and that they're called wall hits.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It's a wall in the end, like a pipe wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never hear that in Europe.
Let me tell you something. WHE doesn't have the same.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Wall hit euphoria just doesn't hit the same.
Doesn't work.
We
spelled weird.
We.
Kind of with French, maybe.
We.
With an H.
Yeah, we. Okay.
Kind of works.
We'll hit so far.
I like she better, though.
Okay, cool. Me too.
Well, there's also something to be said about the fact that you're on your snowboard all the fucking time. When you go and you're on this filming mission, you spend all day building the cheese wedge, or you're like riding this pristine line where it's like when you're lapping on the chairlift, you're just like getting those reps up. You're just on your board all the time.
Yeah, that's really interesting. That's true. Like the winter we spent with Jake doing Landline was amazing on the sled. There was a lot of sledding, but to be honest, like not much snowboarding. That was crazy. The amount of like energy it takes to get to a spot, to shape a spot, and all this. In the end, you do like a little bit of snowboarding, but you don't have time for extra little fun stuff so much. And in the resort, like, it's the way you said it. Like, the amount of runs you can take is crazy. You don't have to worry too much. You can take 5 laps and, maybe you're going to lose the light a little bit or whatever. It's the same as in the backcountry. but you still have like way more time to shred, and then more confidence, more flow, more everything. Yeah.
Well, we're talking videos here. You mentioned Landline. You know what I think it's time for, buds?
Oh, name that video part.
Ooh.
Name That Video part is presented by Mammoth Mountain. Mammoth, one of the best mountains in North America. You might catch buds in the mini pipe going switch McTwist.
Going huge.
Are we going to dust off the switch Mickey this year?
We're going to dust it.
Okay.
Start with an airbag maybe and work my way into the
Well,
snow.
they have those there in the spring.
Let's
It
go.
might just be for US team, but they got everything all the
I'm
way
gonna sneak in.
from beginner park setup all the way to the biggest jumps you'll find in North America. And in addition to that, if it snows,
Great terrain.
Great terrain. A lot of just good groomers. If you're just a carve dogger, you want to whack some turns.
Huge mountain.
Huge mountain. Hence the name Mammoth.
It's a mammoth of a mountain right there.
So if you're interested in a fun snowboard vacation, check out Mammoth Mountain. They support the show. They kick ass. Thank you, Mammoth. All right, Arthur, how are you feeling confidence level wise for Name That Video part?
Stressing a little bit now.
Yeah, speaking to Pearly and people that know you, it sounds like you're kind of doomed from what I get.
I don't know. Yeah. It's I'm probably not gonna get it. Like I want to hear it.
Right.
1 through 10. Do you have a rating?
3.
3.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
That's it. You give me more, or that's it?
That's all you're gonna give them, huh?
It's not looking good here. It's not looking good.
Sounds like it's
Absence
looking
movie?
good.
That's not correct. No.
No.
Just say it's on brand for your company of people here. It's on brand with the crew that you have here today with you.
Ooh. Shit. Which one could it be?
I'll throw you another little crumble. The guy who asked you a question earlier may or may not have made it.
What is it called? Crumble? Scramble?
Nope.
He's all cramble.
The guy starring in it is a European.
Oh, so it's a Jake video 9191.
There it is.
Boom.
He got it. He got it.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you, Chris.
You got
Those crumbles worked.
a bomb.
It's crumble.
Here we go.
A lot of headwear in there.
In there, you have you can bring that back to France and
No way.
sell it, or do whatever you want with it, really. But you got a bunch of hats.
No way.
We
Thank you.
got coffee mugs, stickers.
Boom. I'll bring it to the homies. They're gonna love it.
Yeah, Team
Everybody
Bommel.
loves your show, guys. There.
Oh,
So-
cool.
Love to
That's
hear
awesome.
that.
Well, we love France.
Yes.
Je parle un peu de français.
Oh oui, c'est vrai.
Yeah.
Faut que tu viennes en France un peu pour parler avec moi.
All right, for part 2 of Name That Video part, this is for the listeners. If you know what song this is, comment on the photo of Arthur on our Instagram when his episode comes out. That's where we pick our winner, not on the YouTube comments, but on Instagram. So, and you get what do you get, buds?
A little prize pack.
Yeah, we got new air
couple
fresheners.
stickers.
You might get a new air freshener in there. Who knows? Who knows what
right
you get
here.
in there? Okay,
Smells good.
here we go. All right. Thank you guys for playing Name That Video part.
You have to come to France to practice your French.
Yeah.
Maybe Chamonix.
Je voudrais aller à
Chamonix.
France. Chamonix, back sets maybe.
Un, deux, trois.
Yeah, and
Quatre, cinq, six.
Yeah,
Back set.
back sets. Who knows? You know?
That's
Cap deux, cap deux.
Cap 2 and back set. Yeah,
Cabinet.
the two tricks we can do. Yeah,
You don't do?
we can do.
We can do.
There's only one. There's back 3 and back set.
Ménage à toi.
Yeah.
Ménage à 3.
You know what I love with the French Canadians? I spend all the time in the van with like
Tabarnak.
Frank April and all them, and they'll be like, they'll be speaking in French, like drop, drop, drop rail, and they're like talking about a drop, drop, drop rail, like drop, drop, drop,
Drop.
drop, drop.
Is,
Tu es prêt? Drop.
is tabernacle a Quebecois word or a French word?
Yeah, it's from Quebec.
It's Quebecois.
Yeah, tabernacle. We don't hear it.
You
in
don't hear
France.
that in
no,
France,
we
okay.
have to travel. To,
Il est merde, huh?
I don't know. Not at all. Il est une merde.
Manger merde?
Probably a bit.
What's manger melt?
Eat shit.
Not cool, bro.
No, not cool, Chris.
Yeah, not cool, man. Come on, man.
I don't want to say merde.
Oh yeah, that's actually like a swear in French. I forget sometimes that you like yell those things. It's like yelling like shit. If
And you're probably in France or Quebec just yelling that.
You say it when you
Merde.
say like, oh shit, you know, you're like, oh merde, putain, fais chier. Yeah.
Merde.
Oh merde. Yeah. But to tell someone that is a merde is kind of, you don't want to say that.
Yeah, it's mean.
it's not
mean.
nice.
That's
No,
not very
il
nice,
est,
bro.
il est bon.
Oui, très
This
bon,
guy,
très beau.
Il est bon.
Très
Ouais.
bon.
Ouais.
Yeah.
Ouais.
C'est fantastique ici, hein?
Fantastic.
Yeah. C'est incroyable.
Yeah, you got
You're
got
pretty
words.
good with your French, bro.
But when you think about it, it's like fantastic is the same word as English and incredible.
sure, yeah.
But it's good. We have a lot of
they aren't
words
that hard
in
to
common.
say fantastique.
Parfait. Perfect. Yeah. Il est parfait. All right, so let's
You
talk.
sound like you know what you're saying,
Yeah, all you do is you just bullshit your way through, but
and that's the word.
and you kind of Frenchify it a little bit.
Frenchified.
Fantastic.
That's how they came up with French fries?
Yeah,
Frenchified?
You French fry that thing.
Yeah.
So what's so special about this terrain here in Chamonix? Talk us through why it's so special.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's so special, but for me, when I discovered it, it was kind of, you know, I heard about Chamonix my entire life, and then I didn't go there for until like 5 years ago, and I didn't expect to see what I saw, and the terrain basically has everything there. There's wind leaps a lot. There's a lot of rollers. There's like forest. There's steep runs. There's basically everything you can find in this valley. And again, what I said earlier, there's like all aspects. You know, you can go on the north face, south face, like all elevations and stuff. So in a tiny valley, there's like basically all you can find. And there's a lot of what I like, which is like around the tree line, you know, above tree line, around like 6,000 feet, and a lot of rollers and stuff like fun to ride. And there's a lot of this. It's super accessible. Yeah.
Is Chamonix the valley where you can like snowboard to different villages and stuff?
You mean different villages? Yeah, I mean, there's like different resorts. And so like the old valley has like different villages. Yeah.
And you can like ride to them though, right?
Oh yeah, you're right
Yeah.
to them. Yeah, for sure.
That's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, they're pretty low in the valley, so it needs like a kind of a good year of like snow. But you ride all the way down. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get into trick nerd talk here.
Trick nerds
Let's get into
Nerdiness.
some nerdiness for the nerds out there that love
for the love of
snowboard
snowboarding.
tricks. We got to talk about your Transworld cover. You did a back rodeo 7 that was a very bizarre axis, I should say, where you didn't really like it was side flip, flat spin. Talk us through that clip.
Yeah, it's actually, I was asking the guys, like, yo, guys, how do you do backside rodeo?
That's awesome.
Because, you know, I don't do backside rodeos, and it seemed like a perfect spot for this, you know. And they were like, yo, you do like this, you're like, you throw your head, you know, in the back or whatever they said. And I tried, and it's like what happened is like what I did, which is like a bit more like on the side like this. The way you said, maybe I didn't go like first, but it's not my specialty. Really, I'm not a backside rodeo guy, and I was pretty happy to get this, like second try or something like this. Super stoked.
Now there's another trick we got to talk about. And earlier I was mentioning your board control, your fundamentals, your pop, your weight, your patience. In Together Forever, these two tricks stand out. You hit a jump, and you do a back 7 and a front 10, and you spin the back 7 like you're doing like a back 3 or a back 5, and the front 10 like you dip it, and then barely squeak both of them around. First of all, were you trying to back 7? Because it almost looked like a back 5.
Yeah, it's a back 5.
Yeah, you were trying back 5.
Yeah. We can call it a back 5. Yeah.
You know,
it was. I was totally going for a back 5, and then still had like so much room.
Okay.
I was like, and it kept going. Yeah. It was. I was going for a back 5.
Okay, I was wondering. I'm like, dude, he has the like most laid back approach to. Yeah. So that one. Okay.
Yeah. I would have spun my 7 probably, like quicker and then stop the rotation. And it was more like a back 5 into like a slow 180, And so you're right.
Touchdown landing.
You saw that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then front 10, that one, like you started like a front 7 and you barely squeak the.
Yeah. So I was going for like front double cork, and same, I don't know how to do them, you just
Love
have
the
to,
honesty with it too.
just have to go for it at some point and learn it, learning by doing. And so I was definitely scared to overspin, and so I went slow for it. And I mid-air, or like after mid-air almost, like I was like, going for the next dip, and I saw that there was enough room for the dip, and just went for it.
Was it first try? Because there's no other tracks by it.
That was not first track, but first try of the double cork.
So,
and I was like, oh, okay, I'm good. I'm gonna go get a coffee now. I was like, you know what, this one will do. I'm not gonna try it
again. First try ever. You did
tries.
a one. Just to reiterate what you said, you did a one and done. First time ever trying front 10, and you landed it.
Yeah,
right to the coffee house.
The freak.
Yeah, to the coffee house for sure. I was like. Stoked. I'm gonna watch the session now.
Yeah. And you ended up, it's cool because if you watch, a lot of people do front 10 doubles. They do cork front 5, cork switchback 5. You did cork front 7, dip front 3.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a totally different axis.
Yeah, not comfortable.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Love it. And then another one that's super notable that stands out is Landline, that big transfer back 3.
Yeah.
Is that Revelstoke?
Where was? Yeah, Revelstoke. Yeah.
Talk us through that.
What about the day? There was like a big crew. There was Sam. I wonder if there was Parker, like Pat, like a big crew, more like of 2 crews going up together, and like in a new zone we didn't know, and we saw that bench that looked really nice, and Pat was gonna do like a line up there, and I had time for myself to just like look at the terrain a bit better. The way I said it, I'm not too much of like going right away to one spot and like, oh, that's it. I like to take my time and try to look at it from different angles. And so I was definitely analyzing this one, like coming from the right and then hiking to the left and seeing it down. And then, slowly thinking that it was going to be possible to do a trick on this, like cross court. And it was. I just like had my time. Pat was shooting. I had my time to get ready and prep the spot. And there was such a good feeling. And the snow was so hot and melting in the same time. It was kind of like maybe one of these tipping days, where it would be maybe spring the next day. So it was like, good timing, good snow, but just on the edge, And that was such an amazing feeling. I think special spot, like really special.
So Arthur, at some point in your career, you were riding Volcom boards, and then you switched over from Volcom to Capita. I want to hear why you did that.
It was because I think Volcom was slowly stopping the program for us. Like they were hyped for us to get our own sponsors and get rid of the board program, which was not really going anywhere as a brand. We never wanted to sell them. It was more for the team to have like good boards if they needed to, if they didn't have a sponsorship. But at some point, they wanted to get rid of this program. It was not necessarily helpful for everyone, and I was super stoked to get on a board sponsor. and then I was welcomed in the Capita team, which was totally insane. It was a brand. Actually, the Volcom boards were made by Capita already, and I had visited the factory with Blue like maybe 6-7 years ago. But I was very, very impressed about what he did there in Austria with his factory running from the water, like clean energy, and definitely a big fan of the brand, and from the beginning on. And so it was kind of insane to get on this team, and with people like Kazu, Steve, and Scott Stevens, sorry, and that was amazing.
Totally. I heard, I think Blue mentioned in his episode that you turned down K2 to ride for Capita. Is this true?
Can we say this?
Yeah. Why not? It's all in the past. Yeah, you can say it.
And I was actually very interested in K2 too. To be honest, I think it's a cool brand, and they have a nice team, and I was definitely hyped on them. But I wanted to ride for Capita. Yeah.
All right, we got a special surprise today. We got Oliver Gittler, or as I like to say in French, Olivier Gittler.
Yeah. What's up, Bombhole? What's up, guys?
Happy to have you in here. You guys are longtime friends. You guys go back. Tell us about when you guys met and how far you guys go back.
Okay, do you want to go like the real story? He's going to kill me, by the way.
Yes, the real story.
We only have 12 hours of recording time left, so just keep that in mind.
So where do I start? No, so it was about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I was born in the U.S. with a French father, but we arrived in France, and I was doing skiing, downhill skiing, all that, lame stuff. No, I'm kidding. You can do whatever you want. But yeah, basically, I started to do snowboarding, and they put me into this snowboard club, like for kids. And I was the only one that showed up, and I had like knee pads on, like all full protective gear, kind of like if I was a hockey, full hockey gear. And then Arthur was kind of the cool kid already back then. And I think it was your brother that was there, and one of your best friends, Julien Giamarchi. And basically, Sean was gonna flip.
Yes.
And basically, I think Arthur. Okay, this is really bad for you, but it has a good twist to it. They didn't want to take the chairlift with me because I wasn't cool enough.
Oh, classic!
Oh, no.
Yeah, kids can be so mean.
I had knee pads on, and I was just not cool. And Arthur was like, "No, you're not taking the chairlift with us." And the only nice kid with it was his older brother, Jonathan. But yeah, so that happened for 1 session, 2 sessions, and I was sad. But yeah, the week after, it's all good. The week after, we were, I don't know, something happened, and we were best friends, and we, took baths together after riding. We were 10 years old.
Maybe
so
you
it was
dropped
correct.
the knee pads.
Maybe I dropped the knee
what
pads.
changed? What changed that all of a sudden he was cool enough to be on the lift?
Like kids can be so mean. I don't even remember, but all these it's the first story he tells about. Yeah, he remembers. That's a trauma.
He's been holding on to that.
It's
sounds like he's got
trauma.
some resentment in his voice when he talks about
He's
it.
got PTSD.
Yeah. So for sure, and it's part of processing it when he tells the story.
He's getting it out.
Go for it, Ollie.
I don't know. Maybe I was the American cool kid that came to France. He's like, hell no, he's not getting any of the shine right now.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, maybe I put the knee pads under the pants. Maybe that's a topic with the high backs. Knee pads over or under the pants?
Yeah. Always under.
Always under, or else you can't hang with Arthur Longo. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, we instantly clicked, became best friends, and then started doing half pipe contests when we were kids. And basically living together. When I was at the hill, my parents would drop me off at his house, a lovely house that he has in like a small village underneath Les Deux Alpes. Where do we go from that?
Where are you at now? Like, what's your guys' role together in your lives now?
So now I guess we're just trying to find all the excuses just to spend as much time together.
But we're honestly wondering sometimes, we're like, what the fuck are we doing?
I mean, I'm 31, he's 34, and we have like crazy teenage shopping lists of, skate decks and music gear, and we don't even know what we're doing. But yeah, basically, of course, my snowboarding skills, kind of hit the spot, and it's like, didn't go any further. And I think it was kind of when Instagram actually added the video feature on Instagram. We were like, hey, why don't we try this thing out? Like grab a random camera and film each other. So at the start, we were thinking, yeah, I'll film one, he'll film one, kind of 50-50. But then it kind of started to a part where I was just straight embarrassing. So no, actually, it was Arthur's filming skills that were really bad.
So you were good at filming.
I was way too good
bad
at
at filming.
Yeah.
All that espresso, he had the shaky hand.
Yeah, for sure. Too much espresso and too much like excitement for the spot, which maybe you didn't have sometimes.
Yeah.
You were stoked to be on the camera naturally.
Yeah.
But
honestly,
more than me.
Yeah, honestly speaking, Arthur's skills like surpassed me way above. So yeah, it just became a natural thing that I filmed him and I enjoyed it. And we have this ongoing joke, like if you go on my Instagram page, like it's 90% of just Arthur shredding. And like when there's like a funny comment or like a, yo, sick pop, I'm like, yeah, I know. I kind of
we say we for everything, you know. It's like we landed a bike set, you know. We're together.
Yeah, that's a good thing though to have a bro that's filming you all the time.
For sure, that's amazing, and it's more than filming. Of course, it's just like hanging and being together, and like with the COVID, we made a movie, L for Vans.
So good. Let's give an air horn to L.
Boom. And we didn't have all the friends we wanted to have from the US. Like Blake would have been a part of it more, and like more people, maybe Rav, and so I ended up riding alone a lot. But I was not alone because like the media crew, you know, is like almost like shred buddies. It's kind of the same, or it's more than just filming. It's a crew.
Yeah. Can we talk about the banter between you and Pearly? It's just got to be just world class.
That's a crew,
world class banter.
Well, we got to add Jake Price in the mix too.
Oh,
honestly, he's totally part of the gang.
Oh yeah. He's sometimes you call Jack and he's like, you know, he shows up.
Stay for a whole season, right?
Yeah, he's always ready.
Yeah, and we somehow always talk French in the sessions, and Jake's the only one like non-French speaking. And we would like film a spot and then kind of look at it and whatnot. And Jake's kind of like, you don't really tell him anything. And then we say in French, oh, let's go grab an espresso at the little shack over there and kind of pack our gear. And then we're going. And then he's actually already there on the deck, like with a spritz in his hand. He kind of gets it. He doesn't speak the language, but he does.
He understands.
He knows what's going on.
Yeah.
He's always a step ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jake. Can we do the?
We could give him the super horn.
Yeah, super
for
horn.
sure.
Price.
Yes. All of it.
Jake.
Is that the longest in the bomb hole history?
Yeah, that's like
That's
full.
what we call that, the bomb hole salute.
Yeah, bomb hole, full
Bomb hole
salute
salute.
right there.
Yeah.
Boom.
His episode was great, by the way.
Yeah.
One
He's
of the
just
early
a
ones.
great
too.
human.
So, what were you doing out here in Salt Lake?
Last season we had a couple of things going on, but one of them was the Volcom movie Creedal Cosm. So we had the world premiere last weekend in Salt Lake City, basically where like the whole cosm of at least U.S. snowboarding is, I feel. Like you guys are here, everyone's around. So Seth Hewitt and Kaylin Cassie, and they just pulled out like a premiere and brought us in. Had Mike Rav and Future Mystic play. We have a small band. We opened up for the whole event as well. And of course, like we always say COVID, but since COVID, we never had this big of a gathering so far. Like I remember back in the day, it was like all those premieres and we kind of waited for it. And I guess Seth and Lars, by the way, Skylar, big shout out to Skylar. They made the movie, but they didn't really tease at all. It was like this weird thing. Because, like, I guess it's too much teasing for, you know, a project that's a year's work kind of thing. And it's just so good to actually have the surprise showing up at a premiere, seeing people eye to eye, shake some hands, and actually see the action, like, in the best setup possible.
And your band Leopard Ale played.
Yeah, Leopard L.
You got a video too. I remember seeing. We'll put that in the show notes.
Oh, of us karaokeing.
Oh no,
or
I was
rap.
talking about your rap video. Didn't you show me one?
Oh, maybe I did,
Yeah.
but maybe I'll pull up your video
All
too
right.
of you
He's
rapping
got me on
in
the
front of
mic in Australia.
Oh, you have that,
Yeah.
dude. You got to send that to me because people want that Eastone rapping footage.
Absolutely, he's probably one of the best rappers I've ever heard of.
Some people say the best rapper alive, but we'll see.
I'll back that up. 100%.
He was Jamaican in a past life. I heard Arthur, you get on the stage too, and aren't afraid to maybe shake a pineapple or something like that.
Yeah, so the same way I need him, when I'm snowboarding. And by the way, to link it with the video, like you were filming the Volcom video because you were just coming to natural selection to be my buddy there.
Exactly.
And
So the funny story is I wasn't really, because like it's a lot of us and Seth wanted to have maybe a tight crew. And I wasn't originally hired or planned to come on this Canada trip. I just accompanied Arthur in the natural selection, and then I was kind of in the middle, like with Blake and Arthur, and they kind of brought me to Canada. And Seth was like, "Well, yeah, definitely. Like, boom, he's part of the crew." And then we've ended up filming almost Arthur's full part on the 16.
Yeah. So I need him, when I'm snowboarding, and he needs me a little bit when he's doing music, and I do the pineapple shake.
What's the pineapple shake?
It's a shaker, in the shape of a pineapple, and Oli is super stoked about it. And
everyone is.
He calls me on stage, and I don't have feeling for rhythm at all, and I'm like feeling so stupid next to him like this.
That's not
but,
true.
it makes him happy, so I do it. Yeah.
No, you hold everything together, 100%.
Yeah, thank you, Oli.
Love that.
I've heard actually best pineapple shaker in the biz.
In the biz,
from some people.
I mean, yeah, I don't know any that, even get to the spotlight of people flipping a camera, It's just Arthur out there.
You have to do it. You have to, do this for half hour.
No, what's funny is that we always have, egg shakers in our jackets, too. So every chairlift, I'm pulling out the phone and I'm trying to teach her, 1, 2, 3, 4, counting music. It's fun. We all have egg shakers in the pocket.
Yeah. So we're shaking as well when we're snowboarding sometimes. You Oli, and it's like shh, shh, shh.
All right, so you guys spend a lot of time together. I'm kind of wondering what your least favorite thing is about filming with Ollie.
I got one, which is you never, sometimes.
Oh, maybe that you're not shoveling at all.
Classic.
Okay.
Just like Stony Buds.
Classic.
Okay.
Or he's like, oh, tell me what to do. And he's like, for 2 minutes. And I'm like, no, it takes more than this.
Well, lucky enough, we don't have huge builds either.
Yeah, you guys are just building side hits here.
Yeah. But he's looking at me doing it. It's like, you need a hand?
Let me guess. Does he also pull the classic? Buds is really good at this one. I gotta go. I'm doing air quotes for the listeners that can't see. Look for my angle. Is that one he?
Yeah.
That's a classic maneuver right there.
Walking around. I know the
scope angles.
Yeah. You can see them, the photographers.
Yeah, I can't. Guys, I'm just kind of slowly put the shovel down and sneak off to the side.
Spinning the wheels until the kicker's
just
built.
Doing a little bit of this. Doing a little
Yeah. This angle's good, but I should really go check over there.
I would do the same thing for sure.
All right, Ollie, what's your least favorite thing about filming with?
I mean, he sometimes he would do something to warm up, and he doesn't tell you that he's gonna do it, and he ends up doing awesome stuff off camera, and you just I wish I captured that because that was probably the most amazing stuff. Side hits, some of them are shaped or aren't you just ride and you shred, and you're in following him, and he does the sickest side hit, and you're like, why didn't you tell me you're gonna do that? That was the sickest thing you've ever done. But that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You don't just ride for the camera. I kind of always ride for the camera because I like it so much.
You ride only for the camera.
Okay, yeah, maybe. At least I have an Ixis in the pocket or something. I don't know. I just like to capture stuff.
For sure.
Yeah, I have just as much pleasure as in filming Arthur doing his thing than actually riding myself. It's kind of weird, but yeah, that's how it goes.
When you watch someone do something dope, it just is awesome.
I feel the same way when I'm filming Stony Buds down the run with my iPhone. I feel the same exact way. It's just a thing of beauty watching them carve. Maybe throw some young buck in the background, and we got a masterpiece. All right, Ollie. Before we get out of here, we do need to make sure everybody does a smelling salt. Here, Arthur's got one. I'll send a couple your guys' way. Here we go.
Swimming in these things.
And there's one left. Perfect. So what it is you squeeze it. You squeeze it and you just kind of ease it up to your nose. So when you squeeze it, it'll turn red. And this is a smelling salt. It kind of opens up your nose, capillaries, gets you ready to breathe. This could go good with a cigarette right before a giant side hit.
All right.
Arthur, why don't you start it off?
So I cracked it.
Just squeeze it. It'll pop. Now put it up to your nose and just...
Holy shit.
That was a good reaction.
So you go full sniff? Or
I would ease in, but you can choose your own adventure. You make your own decisions.
I'll go for it.
Whoa! You went full sniff.
Yeah, you went full sniff.
Oh, I feel like it's the gnarliest wipeout.
Yeah.
Surfing. Oh.
You go again.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, you can get another one out of it.
See, you just kind of... Oh, that one got me. Oh, wow.
Sneaks up in there, wakes you up.
Great. I'm crying. You're crying right now, too.
Yeah,
my
that
eyes.
was crazy.
Yeah, look at his eyes, dude. He went deep.
Oh, cheers to that.
Yeah, cheers. Run
Best
through a wall.
hangover cure.
Yeah. Run through a
Wake
wall
you right
smelling
up.
salts available at bombhole.com if you want to purchase and whack one of these and then go about 180
You're tearing
feet.
up, too.
Yeah. 180 feet on a side hit.
That's how you do it.
Wow.
Arthur, how was your experience with the smelling salt?
Very strange. I did like so sudden, like really like a hit, you know? Yeah, a good experience, let's say. I'm crying.
Ollie, how about you? How'd you like it?
I loved it. Like, I'm ready to go to the pub right now. Let's go.
All right, perfect. Let's. We're gonna take a quick break. Here we go.
All right, we are going to get into a word from our sponsors, and it's all about fits. And during the break, I'm going to take a fit. Let's go.
What's up, Bombhole? Jaden Chalmack here, and we're going to be talking fit. This season, I've been rocking the Mellow pullover jacket in bleach colorway. I love the pullovers, great fit, loose and baggy, Gore-Tex, keeping dry in all the conditions. For pants, I've been rocking the Stone Gore-Tex. Great, nice baggy fit as well. Gore-Tex, staying dry, cinch cuffs so I can tighten them around my boots and bindings. I'm always connecting my outerwear with Zip-Tech, staying protected from everything. Ragdolls, tomahawks, you name it. Volcom outerwear, best in the business. Hit up your local shop.
All right, Arthur. I think it's time to talk about art, or as we like to call it,
Shart.
Shart. Yeah. Do you know what a shart is?
No, I don't. Tell me, please.
Buds, do you want to take the?
I'll take the reins on this one. It's a
one.
pretty intense subject. It's not a shit. It's not a fart. It's a shart.
This one.
It's a combination.
Okay.
It's a combination.
Okay. Not a shit, not a fart.
It's like a fart where you're like, ooh, I gotta go to the bathroom. Yeah.
I got one of these this summer. And I think that was maybe the first time of my life where
Really?
I was like, ooh, let's go back home. Yeah.
I gotta go change my pants.
Yeah.
So we have our artist in the back got a little plaque he was all proud of, and it said art department.
Yeah.
And he was all proud of it. And
Drake,
Chris,
let's give him an air horn.
Yeah, Drake, amazing, talented kid. He was so proud of his sign. And Chris sees it and puts the S and an H in front of the art, and now it's the Shart department.
And now his actual official title is he's the Shart director here
Shart
at
director.
the Bombhole. So, but speaking of Shart, I guess we should talk art. It's kind of in the same family, if you will, somehow. So you've designed some Volcom gear. You've made some art books. Let's talk art. What's your vibe on art?
The Shart or the art?
Both. Yeah,
the
both.
art. My take is I can start from the beginning. Is like I'm not really originally super familiar with art because I don't come from a family that was like, really into it or whatever. And I think that came from all the traveling and hanging with actually Americans. I think I really got this influence from Mike Rav and from, Mike, boom. such a big inspiration. But you guys in general in America, I feel, are like really easy on creation. Like I know so many snowboarders that also just, play instruments or paint or everything. And I would say that it's maybe a little less like this in France. And so that's the beginning, how it started with art for me, with Shart, I was going to say.
I heard on Volcom, if you don't do art, they rip your contract up.
Yeah, your
send you
contract
home.
gets cut in half.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So you were like, I better
it's in your
figure this
contract,
out.
and you have to learn art. No, but it is like in some ways the inspiration of Volcom as well. Like they've done amazing stuff. All their writers are like creative, and I can think of people like Ozzy Wright. Do you know Ozzy Wright?
I met Ozzy in Australia.
Yeah, the surfer is like an amazing artist, and I get so inspired by this. Like the attitude they have towards this, or also what they do is amazing. But they're just so relaxed about creating, and I think I really wanted to implement this in my life, and I did kind of like slowly. Yeah.
Other notables, Jamie Lynn,
Desiree,
yeah,
for
so
sure.
many great artists over at Volcom.
Yeah.
But yeah, you want to implement it in your life. You want to.
Yeah, exactly. Like for me, it was, if it wasn't for snowboarding, I think I would have done it like something creative. I always wanted to work on wood, like maybe be a cabinet maker or something like this. And with snowboarding, it was never really easy to access to this knowledge, and have time to learn a new craft and everything. And painting is so much easier. You don't need like a wood workshop or whatever. You just need like a spreadsheet, and you're just doing your stuff, and it's so accessible. And so it comes from like getting the first tattoos. You get your first tattoos and you're like, oh, how did they do that? And wanting to do your own designs as well. And but I had this kind of natural attraction to it, and then I kind of as a hobby, I was also like just working towards it, like to develop some kind of skills with painting or like creating, and also graphic design and everything. Yeah.
I love that. Now, earlier you were talking about flow state and finding your flow on your snowboard. Do you find that you get into flow when you're doing art as well?
Yeah, sometimes like you get stuck on a painting, it just like doesn't work for a while. It's like something is off there, like some colors or some shapes or whatever. And you find the key to the artwork, of like, you in some ways you unlock it at some point, and that's like some flow state for sure. And then the colors can go, and then you finish it and you can't really believe it because it just happened, to unlock. And this is kind of like close to a flow state for sure. Yeah.
There's a wormhole I kind of want to unlock that I think we've talked about in other episodes, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself, but I think about this a lot randomly, and I think about, as there's pros and cons of snowboarding, right? Like in snowboarding, you, especially if you pursue it as a profession, as you get older, you end up hanging out with younger kids, and you can get stuck in like prolonged adolescence where you're almost forever a kid and you never grow up. But there's also benefits to not growing up. I think about this in the way that a kid, like if you've ever been around kids, they love to draw with crayons, they love to play, they love to build, they love to be present. And inversely, when I look at friends that maybe I grew up with that just got the regular job, and they don't access that part of their life at all. They don't access the creative part. Live in a world of just maybe going to work and distracting and things like that. And I just think it's really important to find that childlike playfulness that comes with arts and the imagination that we had when we were kids.
Yeah.
Does that speak to you at all?
For sure. It's really interesting. Like always trying to, that maybe also has to do with curiosity, as we were saying, like the kids, they're always like, looking for something new to do. And the artist as well, in some ways, has to stay a bit of a kid, with fresh eyes. and a snowboarder too. You know, if like it's cool to have the experience, but it's cool to like if. When we talk about this, I'm gonna think about Gigi Roof. You know, he's such a kid, you know, and he managed to be a kid adult, but he's so inspiring the way he acts and stuff, the way he lives. I think he's like he kept his like freshness of like his inner child is still like really there, you know, and that's inspiring. And I think that's important for as an artist for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love a lot of the greats have a childlike approach to their snowboarding where there are people that are serious and it's a big deal. And I don't know Travis Rice that well, but I imagine it's a little more of a serious approach to things. And that's an assumption. I don't know. But I love like the Gigis and the Nicholases. And I'd even put yourself in this category where it seems like it's like a lighthearted, like you're playing in the snow, right? Maybe DCP, maybe Volley have those type of things, you know?
Yeah, definitely. It's still like a kind of a game or like some kind of playing time, you know?
Yeah,
playing in the snow.
Mm-hmm. And we forget that we're just sliding down a mountain on a piece of wood, the same we did when we were sledding when we were kids. But now we're like, oh, we're big serious snowboarders. We got to do our big serious tricks. But it's like, no, we're just fucking around.
I'm a professional.
Yeah, and if you get too serious, you're like, what am I doing? Like, you know, because it's not serious. It's only snowboarding. It's not important for
it's made
anything.
To be fun,
you know?
right?
It's like you have to take it lightly for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The light approach seems to be a common topic on our show. And it's like something that's easy to lose sight of, I think.
Yeah,
people need to remember that it's fun.
Yeah.
So you ever shoot a photo of Stony Buds? It's a light approach.
Cool. We have to shoot.
Yeah,
one
let's
together.
get one.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us about your art style?
Yeah, my art style, I think it's like, as I was saying earlier, maybe I reached this moment so at some point where I was like more creative, not doing something than doing something. And that's maybe when you get into your style for real, you know, you're really inspired by your own experience of things and you're not trying to copy things or get inspired by someone else, but more from your own experience. And so I reached this level at some point, but I'm also like really looking up to other people. And so even if you don't really want to, you're gonna like, you know, get inspired to the point where you're using the same colors without like even knowing it, you know, you're just some people are just like so impactful that you're just like doing things the way they do it, but you still have your own style, and that's a little mix. But you guys know Henri Matisse, like a French artist, like from the 50s.
Give him an air horn, though.
Yes, for sure. Oh my God!
I hope he gets to hear that air horn.
Yeah,
is he still with us?
No, he's not with us.
I hope his family hears that.
He'll still hear it.
Yeah, he'll hear it.
That's so amazing, for sure. And maybe artists like Basquiat, or you know, Basquiat has such a like free type of art, and also I've been really inspired by a movement which is called Cobra that was in the 50s in Europe, and they were inspired in child drawings and stuff, and so we could call it like a bruto art, you know, more of like super expression, like kind of like going like a kid with colors and stuff, like not super fine, you know, but just like a bit more in the emotions and stuff.
Abstract
and figurative in the same time, with like creatures and like small little like characters, you know, and yeah, so that's a bit of my style, like figurative and also like a bit abstract and focused on the colors and stuff. And by the way, guys,
oh snap,
snippety snap,
I got a gift for
wow.
you. That comes from Perli and his crew. Do you guys know Club
That's their publishing house?
Club Sandwich?
Yeah.
Let's give them air horn.
Yeah, for sure. So that's Matt George and Perli. They made a book about me, kind of, and my friends. And there's some of my art is printed on it.
And you can find this at Club Sandwich on their website?
Yeah, it's on their website.
Cool. We'll pop the link up on the screen.
This thing's beautiful. We'll throw this thing on the set. These are some of your
This is
art
your art.
pieces. Wow.
Yeah, so the art inside is like what I've done. Like
the art of the Shart.
The shark is the Shart is from the last few years. Yeah.
Damn, this is awesome.
This is
really cool.
incredible.
This is a really cool feeling book in your hands. I love the way the center of the book has the spiral instead of the conventional.
It's a cool book for sure. The guys did it without me being involved, and one day they were like, "Okay, here's the book." I knew they were making one, and I couldn't be happier the way it is. Like
You're their opus. You're their inspo.
Yeah, but it's their amazing photos and
This is incredible.
They did a really good job, and you can see some of the art, the Shart.
Yeah. Clubsandwich.com. I'm guessing something like that. You guys got to check this out. This is a really cool coffee table book. And always supporting Pearly and the homies is rad. We'll keep one on set and one in the lobby. So thank you so much for the gift.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they do amazing stuff.
Okay, I have the corniest question alive coming at you.
Cool.
So basically, some snowboarders are based on, it's more like athletics, right? I'm like it's more like competitive, and they're thinking about being an athlete. And you seem to be a snowboarder has more of an artist approach. Do you kind of look at the mountain as a canvas and what you want to do with it in that way?
That's corny.
It's corny as fuck. It's corny.
That's corny.
I was almost embarrassed to ask as we went to do it.
Corny as fuck. No, I do.
I swear you asked Jamie Lynn and he said yes.
I think I did. Yeah.
He was down.
I don't remember. We kind of black out.
It's a blank canvas out there.
Man, the mountain's a canvas, man. I'm just painting my way down. Yeah.
No, for sure. Like snowboarding is a creative thing, and I think it's why like so many of us love it, is that you can express your thing the way you feel them, and there's not only one way to do it. There's so many ways, and I think it's what we like to just be able to do it your own way, from the inspiration you get from the terrain, from the blank canvas, and you make it your own. So I think that's a huge part of snowboarding, the creativity for sure.
You're basically an art medium out there,
It is some kind of like performance, and like it's in the creative field for sure.
What products in snowboarding have your art featured on them?
Actually, I'm gonna have a new snowboard with Capita, and there's gonna be one of my painting on it. I'm like super stoked about it.
Is it like a Mega Mercury, or is it your own board?
We shaped a new board.
Oh, new board, nouveau planche.
Can we even talk about it?
Nouveau
probably.
Nouveau planche à neige.
Yeah, nouvelle planche for Capita. Yeah.
When does it drop?
So I'm gonna ride it this year, and it's gonna drop
the following season.
That's
exciting.
In 1 year.
Are you testing shapes, or have you tested?
Yeah, we've done the process already, and it's done. Like we found the really good setup, and that was so exciting because we've been like snowboarding for so long, and like we know about snowboards, and I really was happy to get to bring my stuff and to meet it with like with engineers that really know about what they're doing, and tiny differences that as a snowboarder you don't really know about, but you can maybe feel. And now that was like a super cool process to develop a new board. Yeah.
That's killer. I can't wait to check that out.
Yeah.
That's killer. Okay.
And there's also art on like some of my Volcom stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like a lot of on Volcom things, and they're hyped to get like new art on t-shirts or whatever, and I am too. It's super cool.
Love it. So earlier I asked a corny question. Now I'd like to get into something pretty corny. Paragliding.
Yeah, corny. No,
just kidding. You love it. You love it. What's up with it? It's dope. I love it. I'm just busting your balls.
No, I love it. It's passionating. It's kind of another passion for me. It's like so far from snowboarding. Somehow, I just had it from my dad. He was flying when I was young, and I felt that I didn't want to spend a life without flying. And there's this kind of like aircraft you can grab and go in the the air by yourself, exploring the sky and the mountains. Kind of, it's a bit like sailing but in the air, and that's passionating to me. Yeah, I really love it. I do it a lot in summer.
Not sure passionating's a word, but
sailing
like
in the air too. That sounds. I like the way you described
So,
that.
can you bring another person? Can you do like the skydiving, like
Tandem?
slap Stony Buds on a backpack and take them, or how does that work?
No, not yet.
No tandem?
Not yet, but I want to learn it for sure and bring Ollie with me and you guys. Like, yeah, for sure. It's something kind of not lonely, but you do by yourself, you know. And sometimes you see like you're in like crazy situations, you know, high in the mountains, and you want to share this with someone, you know. And so I'm really looking forward to be able to bring you, Easton.
Yes, let's go. I'll
Yes.
jump on that.
Is
That
that-
was your first time doing it. That must be crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. They give you a radio, you know, and they're like, okay, it's time to go, and you get the radio, and they're like, yeah, turn left, turn right, like it's good. You're
Oh, they
doing
tell
good.
you.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
kinda
they're kind
guide
of
you.
guiding you for sure. That's a good way to do it when you do it in school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Scary.
Is that where you spot those side hits when you're way up there? You see new zones?
He's way up in the air.
It's so interesting to see the terrain from up there. But there's less flying during like winter time than during the good season of flying is in spring. So there's less snow, but you still see like. I think it's a really good experience, for instance, like when you're gonna like fly helicopter, you know, to go in Alaska or whatever, your eyes are like way more ready for like different perspectives. And so I don't spot side hits, but I spot like a lot of things, animals as well. I see animals and mountain goats, and it's amazing.
Love
Yeah.
that. I almost forgot because I forgot you're such a mountain man. We got a great question from none other than Bobby Boudoir, aka Hayden Wrench. Here we go.
Yo, Arthur, it's Hayden. Miss you, bro. I just wanted to ask a question about the time in Chamonix when you scouted the route down and told us I was safe, and it ended up not being safe. Anyways, bisous. Miss you.
What's up, Hayden? What is the question? That it's not safe? Or
he wants you to tell the story of when you're
Yeah.
like, we're gonna stay up late, and then like it's
Yeah.
kind of sketchy on the way down, but it was like really fucking sketchy.
Yeah, it's interesting when you're like managing a group in the mountains. You have to, you know, like level down to maybe you have to ask yourself like what Hayden would be ready to do, you know. And maybe it's a question I don't ask myself sometimes. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take the Americans like whatever where I like, but that's not their comfort zone, you know. And because I love adventure the way Jake Price does, you know, where like we in some ways like getting into trouble is like almost a bit exciting. Not that we're looking for like to get stuck in the mountain, but you know, a little thrill, we like it for sure. But not everybody feels this.
Yeah, not everyone's that excited for it.
No, and so there's that one zone in Cham which we love because there's like it's a sunset zone with amazing terrain. But as I was telling earlier, the runs are going like pretty low, so there's not that much snow at the bottom. And so on your way down, you're struggling for like 1 hour of like, you know, being in all avalanches, like ice, you know, in the forest. They have that. Actually, I'm not cool to them because they have all the weight, you know, of the cameras.
Yeah, the camera bags.
And it's icy.
And you just got one smashed up banana in there.
Yeah, he just
Your
has a
pack of
banana
smokes.
on his back.
yeah, exactly. I'm all light with my banana, and they're like
The filmer's got
you
50,
know.
60 pounds on their back.
Yeah. That's not cool, and it's sketchy. It's a little sketchy. You have to take your time, but sometimes we end up these kind of days in the night with the flashlight of the iPhone, like, you know, on the ice, trying to get down without getting hurt. So yeah. Big props to the guys doing this, like following me.
That
It's
must
so
have been
nice.
pretty gnarly.
Yeah,
For
it's-
him to have a
it's
question
gnarly
like
for
that.
for sure. Yeah.
He's got PTSD.
Yeah, so much to the point where it like wasn't even cool. Like not cool, man.
Not cool at all.
No, it's not necessarily fun. Yeah.
All right, it's time for the pub beer crapshoot. Here we go.
Welcome to the Pub Beer Crapshoot.
You gonna crack some can, buds?
Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Question answered. Asked and answered, buds.
Delicious. It's cheap and it's fun too.
Mm-hmm. If you're celebrating a second place at European X Games, or maybe just on the mountain, and want to have a delicious, responsible beer.
Maybe not even placing at all in the Olympics.
Yeah, maybe not even placing. What are you going to celebrate with, buds?
Pub beer.
Yeah, love it. So rolled. There's 2 dice in front of that pub beer right there. Oh,
yeah.
All right, roll those dice. We'll tell you what you got to do.
Throw them bones.
Hopefully you get something good.
7, 11.
Dude, we get 7 almost
I'm
every
telling
time.
you, these dice are weighted, bro.
But it's a good one. 7. Who is one of your favorite people to party with?
I could add, that's an easy one. Oli is insane. Like
Lepardale
is like good in every situation, but partying as well for sure. And well, we've been talking about him a lot and earning a lot, but Jake Price, Price is
Jake Price is definitely a good party friend.
Yeah, good party friend for sure.
What about Pearly?
Pearly, good party friend sometimes. Sorry, man.
Wow, Pearly.
Sorry, Pearly.
Yikes.
No, he's a good party friend. Oh my God, sorry.
I heard he has blurry photos a lot too, actually.
Yeah, I heard he has a cauldron of items on his lens, a lot like you, bud.
Cauldron.
He's got like
all sorts of weird stuff on his lens, mold growing,
mosquitoes like died on his lens. And
it's
still
very
takes a
rare
photo.
he shoots a sharp photo.
Yeah, it is.
From what I hear.
Yep.
Psych.
I remember I was talking to Pearly and he's like, "You hear the new Pusha T?" Talking about Pusha T.
Oh, really? Pusha T.
You're the new Pusha T. Love that guy. All right. Here we go. So we're gonna get into hot takes. We do this every episode. So standard issue procedure. We always ask the greatest of all time, in your opinion, or to you, or as we say here in America, the Michael Jordan to you of snowboarding, both male and female.
Maybe Victoria Jalous. And I want to say Brian Iguchi.
Wow.
Love that.
First time answering that, but we love it.
Gooch.
We haven't gotten that one yet.
My Gooch.
Okay.
Well, also, it's not like I know him personally. I love him. Is my Gooch, and I think he's the greatest.
He's
for
your
sure.
Gooch.
Is my greatest. Yeah.
Yeah, love it.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay. Most underrated snowboarder.
Well, we don't know him. I don't know.
He's so underrated. None of us know him.
He's so underrated. We don't know him.
We haven't met him. We're looking for him.
We haven't met him yet. He's out there somewhere.
We don't know. He's out there.
Okay.
Great answer.
Yeah, can I say this?
Yeah, that's a great answer.
It really is good.
Undetermined. Love it. Now, you've been at the bone zone, so pick your answer. We're not bone zone, but the spot.
The spot.
Steel, as in rails, or powder? What are you going to choose?
Both. Can I choose both? Yeah, or no, that's boring. I choose powder anyway, but fuck, steel is fun.
Love that.
In your opinion, who's got the best style ever?
Maybe Nick Baden.
Woohoo!
Shout out, Nick.
That came out of nowhere.
Good answer,
Yeah.
too. Okay, Master Baden, as we like to call him.
Yeah.
Okay, best video ever to you, best snowboard video.
But the robot food videos, yeah.
Standard issue answer, and pretty much correct.
Yeah,
okay,
good answer.
Best board graphic, in your opinion, ever made?
What is the one of like Mickey Albin with like a small character? I think. Do you know what it's called?
I don't know what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, this one. I love it.
Is it a Burton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite musical artists? If you could see one band, dead or alive, who would you go see? Any artist in the world.
David Bowie.
Woo!
Love that answer.
I would love to see Bowie too.
Bowie.
Okay. Who's the greatest of all time for French snowboarders? Curveball.
Guillaume Chastagnol.
Woo!
Or David Vincent. Oh, yeah, Guillaume Chastagnol for sure.
He's going Guillaume.
Okay.
Guillaume.
All right. Go to first try, like step down backcountry trick.
Cab 5.
Cab sank?
Cab 5.
Cab sank, wait. Okay, last question. Worst trend. What do you got?
What do you mean?
Like the worst trend, like worst kind of popular,
like tight pants are a trend, or
yeah,
baggy pants.
I was okay. Slim pants in snowboarding. It's a tough one. And or like slim pants or slim pants.
It's a tough look. It's a tough look. I'll give you that.
Slim pants for skateboarding. It's almost impossible to do anything with slim pants. Yeah,
slim pants. Okay.
Yeah,
I love
Great
it.
answer.
Before we wrap this up, one other thing. I think somebody was telling me that you low-key got a ski instructor license or something like that. What the fuck's going on with that?
yeah, that's very strange. But in France, basically to make it short, like there's no snowboard instructor diploma, so there's only the skiers that can teach snowboarding, which is really crazy. It sucks. It's the way it is in France. And as I was in the French team, I had access to kind of like a simplified diploma to the ski instructor thing. So actually I could do it in only 7 weeks, which is a lot actually, instead of 14. So I passed it, and now I got the diploma, and then I can teach skiing and snowboarding in case I need it one day in my life.
Sounds like a crazy program over there.
It is.
You're gonna take a 7-week course to become a ski instructor, but you're a snowboarder.
It's really fucked up. Yeah. But you still.
So are you on skis for this?
On skis, I spent 7 weeks on skis.
So you rip.
He's nice with it. He's
nice with the
it.
skis.
Not really.
Can you do a backflip?
Yeah, a backflip
of
for
course.
sure.
Backflips are easy.
Yeah, they are easy. I can do one as well. So
yeah, you can do them for sure.
yeah, they're easy.
Yeah.
So
would you say skiing's easy?
Skiing is not easy, and it doesn't look that sick. Sorry, and shoot out to all the friends skiing. No bad feelings for sure.
Only love.
Some of them are like totally insane. Kenny Tovex, to name one, but there's amazing skiers. And it's not easy. And but yeah, in the streets, maybe. Yeah, we were having a lunch last time, and there was a ski video of jibbing in the street with skis, and that looked, not.
how does it look? Tell us how it looks. Tell us how it looks. I want to use your words.
Not that sick.
Oh, love to hear it. That's good stuff. Well, I think you should put together like a Arthur Longo side hit clinic. I'd like to sign up where you kind of you get a bunch of people and you're like, okay, here's where you start. And then we go to Chamonix and we just launch those pat downs. Can I sign up for that somewhere? Or?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, it was kind of a serious maybe thought of mine to be maybe at some point, let's say in January this winter, I'm on my Instagram, yo, let's be as many as possible to show up at this resort today and shred together. And that would be really cool to do this. I feel to interact a bit more with the people, not only through videos, but a bit during an event, riding with the people for real. And I think that could be really cool. And if you happen to be in France the same day, you will do a clinic together.
Dude, I hope we're there.
Yeah. You should do that. I think that would be really cool for the people that look up to you and watch your videos. And all that.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do it. Maybe only 2 person will show up, but I'll do it.
No, I hear from Pearly, he's an A-list celebrity when he gets
I
up the
bet.
chairlift. He's crazy. So, yeah, I love that. Yeah, you should definitely do that. Okay, we got to ask too. We always ask about setups. So I know you have a board coming out that will be available in the fall of next year. But if the board that you're riding that's available now, what board are you riding? Bindings? How do you set it up? All that stuff.
Yeah, I'm riding the Mega Merc, so it's kind of it's a board that goes for POW and for everything all terrain, and it's neither stiff, neither soft. It's a good board that does everything. I love it. And how I set up for it is a little back. I set back a little bit, and then my angles are 15 and minus 6 usually. And as for the stance, I kind of eyeball it and kind of change it a lot. Also, I have different size of board, so it depends on the size of the board. But there was I feel that maybe recently there was tighter stance, so I've been on that trend a little bit, and then maybe go a little wider again right now, but always kind of being kind of soft with like I'm kind of changing it a little bit. I'm not too stiff with the having to have the same thing all the time.
Yeah, that Mega Merc is really like snappy and responsive, and I don't want to say aggressive, but you can kind of attack the mountain on that board. What do you look for in a good snowboard? Like, what are the traits?
Yeah, good, like this what you described, like a good energy. You know, if you need it, it's gonna respond. You know, it's not giving up, and so like a good energy board and a good turn as well. Like, you know, a tight turn, like a progressive turn. I'd really like this, and of course like good pop. You know, yeah.
Good stuff. And then you rock what bindings?
I got the Atlas, Union Atlas. It's rather a bit stiff, but just like I think for bindings, it has to just be right for the snowboard, the boots, and the bindings. So just the three of them together, they have to match, you know. And I got the Vans Infuse, Atlas Union, and the Mega Merc, and that's like a really, really cool combo.
Is it boa or lace?
It's both.
Oh, it's both.
Yeah.
Hybrid.
Do you like the hybrids?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's boa just for the
pulls the ankle back.
Liner, inner liner.
Yeah.
Yep.
For the like at
for
the
your ankle.
kick. Yeah,
Oh,
for the
yeah.
ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love the laces as well because I think you can manage more where you want to be stiff or not. And yeah.
And then for outerwear, obviously Volcom. You're here with the whole Volcom crew. What are you rocking for outerwear?
My own collection.
Yeah, this
Oh, you got a
guy's got a
collection.
sick collection.
Yeah. Thank you.
Is it really tight?
Very tight pants.
There's space. There's room for the balls.
He's got
for the Shart.
the Sharts. And
It's
you can fit your
they're
balls.
Shart-proof pants. It's actually
Now,
a
you
new
kids got a
patent.
whole collection up there on Volcom.com.
Yeah. Check it out. It's nice. I got lucky enough to just develop this with Volcom, and same as the board. You know, it's a full process, and usually we do it like 2 years ahead of like being in the stores, and you realize like how much of what it is to create outerwear, and it's not that easy, but it's fun. It's really cool, and I'm really glad the way it turned out.
Love it. So what's next for Arthur Longo?
Another a year. Like now it's looking good. I think we're gonna have a project maybe with Vans, if I could say it already. I'm not sure because it's not set in marble, but set in stone. But we're trying to do a Vans movie, and hopefully like another Sided for episode with Oli. So I think a lot of people are waiting for this. We didn't shoot any of it yet, but we're excited to do it, go back to it. And
I hope that gets set in marble.
Yeah, I hope it gets set in marble.
Yeah, we'll almost like have to do it by now. And I'm gonna say I promise it. We're gonna do it. Yeah.
We'll set it in some quartz then maybe.
Yeah.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Some limestone. Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But shredding, and just doing stuff with the homies and Oli a lot. And
look forward to you going, basically Richter scale on these.
Jumping over all our heads.
Yep.
Off those side hits.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Killer. Well, we also always ask if you want to throw out thank yous before we wrap this thing up.
Well, I can think of you guys.
Merci, actually, is what we call it.
Merci
beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup, Easton. Merci, Chris. No, really, really happy I came here, and it's so nice we could lighten up. And thanks to all my sponsors, Volcom, Union, Capita, Electric, which one am I? Vans, and all the homies and everything. That is that keep creating stuff in our field, and that keep making it interesting, and go out there and still have the passion and show this passion and inspire other people. So shoot out to that would be a lot of people actually, because there's a lot of creative people in our sport, but that's it. Thank you. Thanks to you guys. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup, mon ami. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for everything you do for snowboarding too, and just the lane you've carved out and inspired so many. And I want to say thank you to everybody that tunes in and listens to our show and supports us. We appreciate you guys. And where can people find you if they want to look you up?
You mean on Instagram?
Yep.
Yeah, Arthur Longo. Yeah, my name. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, appreciate you, Arthur. Thanks again for coming on. And we're out of here from the Bomb Hole. Over and out. We see you next week. Peace.
Peace.